Hey girls, welcome back to another Pilates class. Today is a total core day, so we'll spend 15 minutes targeting our corset core and our obliques. I will be performing intermediate exercises and Presley will be doing the modifications. All you need today is yourself and your mat, so go ahead and roll them out. Let's get started. Let's start today kneeling in the center of our mat. We'll take an inhale and reach both arms overhead. Take your right hand and wrap it around that left wrist. We'll reach towards the right. Inhale back up through center. Let's switch hands and reach towards the left, really stretching out that side body. Exhale everything out as we stretch, and then we'll inhale back up through center and we'll circle those arms twisting towards the right this time. Let's take our left hand around right thigh and really try to exhale, relaxing into this twist. We don't want any stress on the spine. Inhale, reach back up and we'll twist the other direction, so towards our left side this time. Eyes are looking back at our fingertips behind us. Nice job, guys. We want a really loose spine so that we can work our core without our spine holding us back. So circle those arms back down. Let's make our way into tabletop next. When in tabletop, we want to make sure belly button is pulled back to the spine, and then we'll extend our right leg and lift it in line with the rest of our body. Hover the left leg and we'll pull that right knee in to tap left elbow and then right elbow before we extend. As we pull the knee in, we want to pull that belly button even farther back towards the spine, hollowing out the core muscles, and then we want to inhale each time we extend. We'll repeat this motion 6 more times, continuing to sync our breath with every single movement. Inhale as we extend, exhale as we draw in. And let's do 3 more. 2. On this last one, hold that knee lifted in hover and we'll pulse the right knee in and in, tucking our hips as we do for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and rest. Extend that leg, lower slowly. We'll jump straight into the other side, so extending that left leg and then lift off the ground. We'll exhale, hover the right knee as we pull that knee to tap elbow, elbow, and inhale, extend. Exhale, tap, and inhale out. You guys are doing so great. We've just got 6 more of these. And 4, 3, 2, and you guys know the drill. On this last one, we're gonna hold that knee in and pulse the hips, tucking up and up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, last 2, and extend. Great job, guys. Let's cross our ankles now and come to sit on our glutes in the center of the mat. Take your arms to parallel and we'll roll vertebrae by vertebrae down to our backs. From here, you'll want to imprint the spine, so pull the muscle below the belly button down into the mat and then extend the right toes all the way up to the ceiling. We'll exhale into a crunch if you're taking that intermediate option, and then lower the leg with a flexed foot before bending the knee to extend back up to the top. Really feel those obliques engage to make sure that both hips stay evenly rooted into the mat. And if you're in a crunch, imagine that you're holding an apple between your chin and your chest so that all of that goes into your core and not strains into the neck muscles. Let's just do 4 more like this. 3, 2, and 1. Now interlace your hands and take them behind the head. We'll exhale and curl up through center before taking a twist with that left elbow to the right knee. Bending as we do, we'll inhale and extend that leg long before pointing the toe and lifting it up to the ceiling. So we exhale, curl and twist, bending the knee. Inhale, extend and lift, and then exhale, repeat. We're already halfway there, girls. Let's just do 5 more. Make sure even as we extend that leg out that we're not letting our lower spine come up off the mat. It stays pressed down. You've got just 1 left. Great job. Lower that leg down and let's jump straight into the other side. So arms come by the hips. We extend that left leg, imprint the spine, and then curl up if you're taking that intermediate version. Really important that we remember our breath here. So exhale as we flex the foot and lower. Inhale as we pull that knee in and extend to the top. Again, make sure both hips are evenly rooted down into the mat, even as we're moving through that left leg. Feel those obliques engage to keep those hips steady. And last one. Let's take our hands behind our head, interlacing the fingers and resting the head down in the palms. Let's start those bicycle twists. Exhale, curl through center and take right elbow to left knee before you drive that heel out alongside the mat, and then exhale to point the toe and lift the leg through center. Remember that movement comes from the core, so our hips are rooted evenly into the mat and we're crunching up so high that our shoulder blades are leaving the mat as we twist. And continue for 3, 2, last one. Great job, guys. Fold those knees in and rest the head down on the mat. Let's extend those arms overhead and slide our toes out long so we're stretching into one long line on the mat. We'll inhale and start a roll up, exhaling to pull the knees into the chest and extend them up into teaser. And then inhale, slow and controlled, lower the upper and lower body at the same time down to the mat. Take an inhale and roll back up. Exhale, extend. Inhale, we lower, and on our exhale, we're gonna finish off those arms reaching overhead. If you're having trouble fully extending into teaser, take your hands down to the mat by the hips for some extra stability and support. Don't worry, you'll still be using your core to lift those legs up. I know this one is really tough, but we only have 5 more. You guys have already made it halfway through this exercise. Here's 4. Just 3 left. You can do it. Keep that chest nice and lifted. 2. On this last one, guys, we're gonna hold up at the top. Take one hand down to the mat if you need to, but if you can, let's pulse and reach for those ankles for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more, and rest all the way down. Take a deep breath, guys. You deserve it. And then we'll take our hands down by our hips and start lifting those knees into tabletop. So a 90-degree angle sits behind each of our knees here. Then we'll open our knees into butterfly and start with an exhale to tap the toes down to the mat and an inhale to lift those legs extended fully and peel the hips up to reverse crunch. We'll bend the knees back to that 90-degree angle, opening into butterfly and tapping the toes down on the ground. Each time we lower the legs for the butterfly toe tap, we want to make sure that the low spine is staying imprinted and pressed down into the mat. And each time we lift into the reverse crunch and roll back down, it's that muscle below the belly button that's pulling our core back into the mat. Let's really focus on using our breath for these last 4. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll down and tap. We've got 1 left, guys. And roll those hips down. Let's come back into that butterfly tabletop position and start reaching those arms above the shoulders into parallel for some butterfly dead bugs. We inhale as we tap the ground with our toes and our fingers, and then we exhale and reach into our crunch, lifting those knees back to tabletop. Again, the lower spine stays pressed into the mat using our lower abs and hollowing out our belly with each exhale. If this becomes too much on those muscles in the neck, just remove the crunch of the upper body and move those arms overhead and then reach down by the hips, keeping the head down on the mat. On this last one, we're gonna hold our crunch. So chest lifted, let's flex the feet and extend to about a 45-degree angle, and then we'll pull those knees back into tabletop using our inhale. So we exhale and extend, inhale and pull in. Again, for this modification, you can keep the head down on the mat to preserve the neck. And if those hip flexors start bothering you, take the toes straight up to the ceiling, just like Presley's doing, rather than extending to that 45-degree angle. We'll continue just like this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll roll the head down to the mat. This time as we curl up, we're gonna reach between the knees for the heels with a little pulse, Roll the head down, so just crunching that upper body, we tap the heels and then roll vertebrae by vertebrae the spine back down to the mat. Four, 3, 2, and last one. Great job, guys. That was a tough series. Hug the knees in and take a deep breath, resting on the mat. Whenever you're ready, we're going to take a rolling like a ball exercise. Exhale back and inhale, roll forward, sitting up on your mat. Let's come onto our right palm into a full or a modified side plank. Reach that right arm overhead, and on our inhale, we'll drop our arm and our hips down to the mat, and exhale, we'll lift, making sure to squeeze the glutes so that we know our body is in one long line from the heels through the crown of the head. With our breath, we inhale to lower those hips and exhale to lift, pressing that shoulder down and away from the ear and making sure that our right palm is flat on the mat. If you'd like to level this one up, just lift that top leg up and hold it lifted as we drop and lift the hips. Let's do this 2 more times, and then we'll level up. So keeping those hips lifted, let's lift that top knee and pull knee to elbow slow and controlled before we extend both out long. We want to make sure we're not letting the hips fall as we lift the knee, so we're really squeezing that lower glute. I know this exercise is really hard to maintain control through, so lean into your breath, using your exhale to lift the knee and bend the elbow, and our inhale to stretch the body out. Let's just do one more, and gently drop those hips down to the ground. We'll swing the legs around and get set up to do the other side. So we press the palm flat into the mat directly below the shoulder, extend one or both legs in a modified or full side plank, and then reach the top arm overhead. Inhale, lower the hips, and exhale, lift, squeezing the glutes to create that one long line with the body and really feeling those obliques start to burn. You guys are almost through with class. This is our last exercise, so we'll do 3 more and then we'll level it up, lifting that top knee. Alright guys, hold lifted on this last one. We're going to slowly and controlled bend that top knee and pull the top elbow down to tap before we inhale, extend. We keep those hips still and stable where they are rather than letting them drop to the mat each time we lift and lower top leg. We've got 3 and 2, last one. Great job, guys. Gently lower those hips down. And let's take a second to stretch out all those muscles so that we're ready for our next class. Coming into tabletop, we'll take a little chaturanga to our belly and press into swan, stretching the neck up by reaching the chin towards the ceiling. Take a couple breaths in this stretch, as it's the perfect opposite for all of that crunching and curling that we just did. Then we'll slowly lower the chest down, slide the palms back, and lift those hips, pressing back into a child's pose. Let the hips sink heavy into the heels here, and we'll start walking both hands over to the left side of the mat. You can stack the palms and let that chest fall down to the ground. Take a deep breath, and then we'll walk through center and over to the other side. After a couple breaths here, come back to center and then ripple the spine to sit up tall on your heels. We'll finish off with a couple breaths where we roll the shoulders to open the chest and pull that chin back in line with the rest of our spine. I want to thank you guys for moving your body with me today and working your core, and I really can't wait to see you guys for next week's class, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.